Good evening, East Texas. I'm your host, Gracie Castanejad. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday for the episode of Nac Edition. To begin, take a look at how last week the Stonefort Museum at SFA hosted a reception and lecture to celebrate the exhibit Misery and Remedy, the Rise and Eradication of Epidemic Diseases in East Texas. The new exhibit features 6 epidemic diseases examined through the mid-1900s, focusing on early remedies, scientific discoveries, and the advance of public health. The exhibit includes more than 150 artifacts from 23 institutional and private lenders throughout the East Texas region and across the United States. A wide range of objects from bloodletting devices to nurses' uniforms and even a pocket microscope work together to tell the story of epidemics in East Texas. A major lender to the exhibit, Dr. Robert Carroll, took visitors on a collector's tour of Misery and Remedy. As a retired physician in Nacogdoches who has been collecting medical books, furniture, and tools for several years, Carroll has amassed a collection that includes 250 medical books, 1,000 medicinal furniture, and equipment items, and a large collection of medical quackery equipment. The exhibit will be on display open to the public until December 20th. Operating hours and more information on this extraordinary exhibit can be found on sfasu.edu. This weekend was the first ever Indian Artifact and Ethnographic Show at the Nacogdoches Expo Center. Here's Alexis Morgan with the story.
I do a lot of traveling, just looking for peace here and there and such as that, you know what I'm saying?
People from all around gathered in the Nacogdoches Expo Center on Saturday, October 3rd for the first annual Indian Artifact and Ethnographic Show. Many came to showcase and sell some of their beloved artifacts and treasures they have collected, while others, like family and friends, came out to learn about Indian artifacts and a culture completely different from their own. Many artifacts were displayed and up for sale from owners who were more than willing to part with their treasures. Among the crowds of families and merchants, there was one face that stuck out.
The sinew on it is modern. But I'm going by a rodeo guy who went up to Montana and got it back in the 40s. You know?
For some, collecting these artifacts and learning about the culture behind them is a mere hobby, but not for John Adams.
I can go through about 500 pieces in 5 years, you know what I mean? So I'm very open, just keep it migrating. If you've had it a couple years, let it go on, you know, let somebody else treasure it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's a good way to live by that.
John travels all around for his artifacts, which have led him to being the owner of a piece more than 10,000 years old. John's vast knowledge and personal collection of artifacts are very impressive.
Here's another piece. This little frog effigy.
Wow.
And
what
this
was
is
that used? What's
it's a pipe.
Oh, it is a pipe. Okay. Wow.
And this is a St. Clair County. This would be a St. Louis area. Cahokia Mound.
John is just one of the many people willing to educate others about Indian artifacts and ethnographics.
You'll never know what you can learn and find in your own backyard. Today has been all about passing on from one culture to another. For Nac Edition, I'm Alexis Morgan, reporting from the Nacogdoches Expo Center.
The Indian Artifact and Ethnographic Show is a one-day event, but we look forward to next year's show. And now we turn to how dozens of criminals' acts go unnoticed because people can be too scared to come forward with information. Luckily, there is a way where people can help without that fear, thanks to the Nacogdoches Crime Stoppers. I met up with them to get a little more info. I traveled downtown to be a part of the Nacogdoches Crime Stoppers annual Catfish Cookout fundraiser. The event was held so that the organization could raise funds that would go towards improvement and the cash rewards that are offered. There, I met with several of the board members of the Nacogdoches Crime Stoppers, including Greg Sowles, the Sergeant and Nacogdoches Police Coordinate for the group.
Tonight we're here with our annual Catfish Cookout. It's an annual event. It's our major and really our only fundraiser for Nacogdoches Crime Stoppers. Tonight we have Catfish Express here that is providing our food. Catfish Express is very popular. Everyone knows it's a great meal. You're going to have a lot of fun, and there's great entertainment provided by the Lufkin Crime Stoppers band. We make it very convenient for people who are in a hurry and on the go. We've got a drive-through set up, and it's $10 a plate. We also have seating for people and families who want to come out and listen to the band and enjoy interacting with their neighbors, and it's just a great evening.
Crime Stoppers is a national organization that started in Arizona back in the 70s and expanded throughout the U.S. and is actually global. It is an organization that helps to reduce crime in communities by having a three-pronged approach with law enforcement, the media, and local citizens. We've had over 1,500 arrests since the program started in 1982. We paid out over $140,000 in rewards, and we recovered about $3.9 million in property.
One important thing to add about the Crime Stoppers is that all information is done anonymously.
It's recommended that you do not give your name, and we'll never ask for it. You can give that information confidentially, receive up to $1,000 cash reward if information results in arrest and grand jury indictment of the person responsible, and never come into contact with a police officer.
This is done so that anyone who provides information can be free of any discrimination and does not have to worry about retribution for giving the information. For more information on the Nacogdoches Crime Stoppers, check out their website at ncstips.com. Or, to leave a tip, call 936-560-INFO. For Nac Edition, I'm Gracie Casinajad. And the Nacogdoches Police Department wants to remind citizens that all information provided is strictly anonymous. Coming up after the break, we'll fill you in on how our fellow students did in a competition over the weekend, and also the latest on everything you need to know happening around the world. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nac Edition. This week at SFA is Marketing Week for the campus's American Marketing Association, and they will be having their first fall regional conference this weekend. Brandy Strand has the story.
SFA's very own American Marketing Association is hosting their annual Fall Regional Conference this weekend on campus with the University of Houston downtown. But what exactly is AMA?
Overall, American Marketing Association is a networking professional organization. We do our best to get you in contact with the person who's going to give you a job when you walk across the stage.
SFA AMA meets here every other Wednesday in room 133 in the business building from 12:20 to 12:50 p.m. This organization welcomes all majors because they feel that every student should be able to market themselves in any field they go into.
At the end of the day, every person, no matter what your major is, will need to be able to sell yourself. Marketing is not just for people that are marketing majors. You will need to market yourself to your employer. You will need to market yourself on your first job interview. You'll need to market yourself every day in your life.
AMA also has Marketing Week this week, in which they put on different events to promote awareness about marketing and professionalism. Some of the events include an etiquette dinner and a resume workshop. In regards to the conference, there will be many speakers such as SFA alumni and Mattress Firm CEO Steve Stagner, case competitions, and food for all students and faculty members that are attending.
This conference, people will learn the best of the marketing skills from the best of the marketers. You'll be learning professional development. You'll be networking with people that will give you that job I spoke of earlier when you cross that stage. We're talking internships. We're talking about full-time jobs when you graduate, and we're talking about you advancing your knowledge in marketing overall.
The AMA Fall Regional Conference will be held here in the Kennedy Auditorium this weekend, October 9th through October 10th. To get tickets to the conference, simply go to sfaama.org. I'm Brady Strand, reporting for Nac Edition.
We're always excited to hear about these events happening on our own campus. It's being called the thousand-year flood, but it's going to cost much of the East Coast millions in repairs. Of those East Coast states hit by Hurricane Joaquin, North and South Carolina have taken the most damage. Flood meters have been washed away. Roads and bridges collapsed, and as of Monday, South Carolina has been declared under a state of emergency. As of Monday, 10 people have been confirmed dead, and dozens more are still missing. According to authorities, about 1,300 National Guard troops, 250 state troopers, and a large number of other state workers, along with rescue crews, have been activated in the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Joaquin. Filmmakers are looking for stars in East Texas. And no, they aren't looking for stars in the night sky, but a boy around the age of 12. Opening casting calls will be held tomorrow in Marshall from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Marshall Public Library, and in Rusk at the Cherokee Clinic Theater, Saturday, October 10th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The two main actors of the untitled film are Josh Brolin of True Grit and Danny McBride from Eastbound and Down. No acting experience is necessary, and if your son is chosen, they will be paid the same pay rate as a professional actor. Stay tuned. After the break, meteorologist Michael Ryder fills you in on the 5-day forecast and this week's upcoming events. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, East Texas. I'm Michael Ryder, and we have a very exciting weather update this week, so buckle up. First, we're going to move on up to the northwest. Up in Seattle, 61 degrees. Really, most of the storms that the entire country is seeing this week. The West Coast is having a bit more cloud cover, as you can see, than the East Coast, so keep that in mind. Don't know if any of y'all are planning to fly to Cali, but it is currently 70 in San Francisco, and if you look down at Los Angeles, it's down 78. We're going to go ahead and move on to that East Coast. As you can see, much less cloud systems in this area, but up north you got 68 dropping down to 72 here in New York, and as you drop down in Miami all the way down 85, just showing that huge transition going from the north to the south right now. Very extreme differences in temperature. You can really expect those to fluctuate. Keep in mind, these are the highs for the day, so you're not really seeing that low index that you would want to see. Now moving on to central the United States, we got 79, 83 dropping or rising up to 89 and even into the lower 90s. Nothing new there. That's just the general rule of thumb here in Texas. We can expect those to start dropping down here soon. Our lows have been around 61, 62. Moving down to Texas specifically, Houston definitely getting the heat of all of Texas, really. It seems like 92. San Antonio sitting at a toasty 91, but across the board, just pretty warm. Now, moving on to the weekly forecast. We've got today, our high is a 92 and a low of 63, partly cloudy. Now you can expect about 45% humidity, so this will be one of the less humid days of the week. Thursday is going to have a high of 93 and a low of 64. Friday, 91, a low of 63. Saturday, a high of 87 and a low of 55. Now you can expect a lot of cloud cover to persist into the weekend, possibly on Saturday. We're showing for more sunlight, so expect that this coming weekend, but working our way towards the weekend, you can expect some cloud cover. Moving on to the calendar of events for the week. Tonight is the beginning of the 38th annual Piney Woods Fair at the Nacogdoches County Expo Center. If you have any questions about that, you can call 936-564-0849. And I believe that will be from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thursday, moving on, again, the 38th annual Piney Woods Fair. That's going to be all weekend long, actually. So just keep that in mind if you're ever looking for anything to do at all. The 38th annual Piney Woods Fair is there for you. Also going on Thursday night is the Georgiana and Max Lale Lecture. Robert Kruger is going to be at the Grand Ballroom at 7:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. And SFA will be facing off with Texas A&M Corpus Christi in volleyball at the Shelton Gym at 6:30 on Thursday. Moving on to Friday, again, 38th Annual Piney Woods Fair is going to be going on. It is going to be too hype. Be there or be square. Also happening, the Torchlight Parade and Bonfire, 8:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. at the intramural fields. Really, you can't miss this event. There's going to be a special surprise guest singer. Still not sure who that's going to be. Moving into Saturday, you guessed it, the 38th Annual Piney Woods Fair will still be going on. SFASU Volleyball will be playing Houston Baptist at 1 o'clock on Saturday in the Shelton Gym. And our football team will be facing off against Nichols at 3 p.m. at Homer Bryce Stadium. Now Sunday, we're topping off this great week with another day of the 38th Annual Piney Woods Fair. It's just going to be a truly exciting week. And that's it for this Nac Edition weather update. Stay tuned because after the break, our sports director, Hunter Sowards, will be giving you everything you need to know about this week's sports update.
Welcome back, East Texas. I'm your sports director, Hunter Sowards, bringing you all the latest sports updates. To begin, let's take a look at how the 90th Annual Battle of the Piney Woods went this weekend in Houston, Texas. The game kicked off at 3 p.m. at NRG Stadium. After a scoreless first quarter, and I must add it was the first scoreless quarter since the rivalry was moved to NRG Stadium, SFA posted the first points of the game. Utilizing a 6-play, 61-yard drive, Conk connected on a 21-yard strike to Ruffin on the first play of the second quarter, giving the Jacks a 7-0 lead. Sam Houston got on board later in the quarter using a 10-play, 58-yard drive, but SFA's defense limited the Bearcats to just a field goal, cutting the lead to 7-3. The Jackson answered quickly on its ensuing drive, covering 56 yards in 4 plays, capped with a 31-yard pass from Conk to Jones, as SFA took the 14-3 lead into halftime. Now, sports fans, this was the first time since 2010 the SFA Jacks had the lead at half. Now, the second half didn't go as well as the first for the Lumberjacks. Sam Houston State returned the ensuing punt 78 yards for its first touchdown, trimming SFA's lead to 14-10 early in the third quarter, and then scoring again almost immediately. A costly fumble and another field goal from the Bearcats allowed Sam Houston to secure the 5th straight victory of the rivalry. The loss drops the Jacks to 0-5 on the year, SFA's worst start to a season since going 0-11 in 2007. But SFA hopes to return to Homer Bryce Stadium, and that will be what helps them right the ship as they host Nichols on Saturday, October 10th. The game against the Colonels will be SFA's Pink Out, kicking off at 3 p.m. And now let's turn to some more local sports. CrossFit has taken the workout world by storm recently, and our sports reporter Brandon Howard gives us an inside perspective on the sport.
There's a sport that's on the rise, CrossFit. From humble beginnings to high starts, it began with ESPN and Reebok teaming up for what they called the CrossFit Games, a challenge that brought the best CrossFit warriors from across the nation representing their different tribes for a grand prize of $250,000. In East Texas, CrossFit 360 is trying to establish their domain. With leader Ryan Rawson at the helm, leading the CrossFit charge, it has went from 360 Fitness to CrossFit 360. With a good team of Garrett Clark, his close friend, CrossFit 360 has made hats, shirts, different clothing, and expanded its role from gym to CrossFit gym. With a good team and a lot of people who are interested in the sport, willing to work and learn and fight to become the best CrossFit gym in the country, they have a good team and look to not only work on their technique, but to work on their effort. They have ranges that can include older women, older men, to small children, all setting the same goals of to be the best. With a hot environment and different circumstances that make it so it's difficult to work and thrive and have true success, it makes it so CrossFit is truly a sport that can be looked at as something as a challenge. Facing time clocks and looking toward the future that CrossFit is, and CrossFit stands for working hard and giving it your all. CrossFit 360 on University Street is setting goals that cannot be touched. CrossFit 360 looks to expand their borders and stake a claim in the $250,000 prize. CrossFit 360 may be small now, but is growing and growing every single week. Look forward to CrossFit 360, not only staking claim now, but continuing to thrive and bring people in every year. Not only is CrossFit becoming big locally, but nationally. So next time you happen to stop through Nacogdoches and cross paths with CrossFit 360, make sure to go inside and get a little bit fit. I'm Brandon Howard reporting for Nac Edition, signing off.
Thanks, Brandon, for that unique look on the sport. CrossFit is proving to be a great way to stay active and make money. Now we turn from the local level about how one Washington family experienced the unimaginable. Here's CNN with the story.
He never talked to me. He never say something. He never hold my hand. He never have he have a little bit tear come out of his eye, but beside that, that's it.
While Kenny was playing for Evergreen High School Friday night, Nong was working as usual as a janitor for Seattle Public Schools. Then his life changed with a chilling text.
I saw the message, leave a message for me on my phone, say, your son dead. You need to go to the hospital in Harborview.
As a father and a brother struggle with unknown grief, they are steadfast that Kenny died doing what he loved, playing football.
It was his favorite thing to do.
Nong Bowie tells me he was all for Kenny playing football when he was a freshman. But after a knee injury, he wanted Kenny to quit. Dad was overruled by mom and son, and now football took away that son.
And I love my son, and I don't want that thing happen to all the kids. And the parents have to worry, can't go to work, my kid hurt, my kid thing like that. I don't want that thing happen to all the kids in the United States.
A warning from one family about the dangers of football and reminding all participants and even observers of the sport that safety should always come first. And speaking of football, Monday Night Madness is all the talk right now, and here's an update from one of the most highly anticipated games last week. The Detroit Lions traveled to CenturyLink Field, one of the most hostile environments in all of sports, to face the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Here are some of the highlights. Russell Wilson drops back to pass, avoids 2 sacks, and lofts a pass to the near side of the field for a big gain on a broken play. On the very next play, Wilson delivers an accurate ball to Doug Baldwin in the backfield zone for a Seahawk touchdown. Now with 2 minutes left in the first half, Wilson drops back to pass and sees a running lane to his right. He takes off and exploits the defense to put his team in the red zone. As good as Wilson has been, no one is perfect. Wilson drops back to pass and fumbles the football. The Detroit Lions scooped up the ball and took it to the house for a touchdown.
I'm sorry.
That was Wilson's second fumble of the quarter on a 3rd and 1 play, and the game on the line. Lions quarterback Matt Stafford drops back and delivers a dart to Calvin Johnson, who turns upfield, and it looks like he's going to score. But at the last second, Cam Chancellor forces Johnson to fumble, and the result is a touchback. Seattle's ball. After 60 minutes of play, the Seattle Seahawks came out victorious at home by a score of 13-10. Seattle improves to 2-2 on the season and face an undefeated Bengals team in Cincinnati next week. The Lions fall to 0-4 on the season and face the 3-1 Arizona Cardinals at Ford Field. Well, that's it for this week's Sports Update. I'm Hunter Sowards, and back to you, Gracie.
Thanks, Hunter. And thank you, East Texas, for tuning into this episode of Nac Edition. We'll see you next week.